escape. But it's not happening. Nah, to be fair, it's all right. I quite enjoy working from home, so the wife's pretty good, lets me crack on, and I just hide in this room drinking beers. So it's all good, mate.
It's the way to do it, I think. Working from home is the future. Hello, Dax. Hello, Canada. Hope everyone's doing well. So we're just going to work out what's been happening over the last couple of weeks. Andrew, hello from Ohio. Yeah, it's been a bit of a strange one the last couple of weeks. I'm getting very used to doing the... Hello, Robin from Boston. Getting very used to the whole work from home thing. But if I see another Zoom chat, I think I'm going to lose my mind. How many Zoom chats have you been on this last 2 weeks?
Well, I was on one with you last night, the night before. And it's not with you that says, do you want to jump on Zoom for a beer?
I'll live on my own. I've got no pals. Come on.
Is this some weird way of you saying getting the audience there to invite you to Zoom chats?
That's it. So if anyone's watching and they're feeling lonely, send me a link to a Zoom chat. I'll jump in anyone's room. I've been enjoying the Corona Pub, coronapub.com. It's a group of SEO people who are putting on like live events. There's going to be a magician coming on. There's live music, and yeah, I think you guys you're one of the judges on the Search Awards, right?
Yes.
Hey, Hussein. Were you on the Zoom chat when the Search Awards people took over the Corona Pub for a night?
The Thursday night. I think it was last Thursday night. Yeah, I was there for a bit. And I think there was about 50 of us, so I didn't really get a word in. So, yeah, but...
It just doesn't suit you. You need to be front and centre, I feel.
Exactly. There's Mashaba from Cape Town.
There we go. So we've got quite a few interesting websites today. So I've picked out about 4. I think it was a record number that have been submitted to us. It was like a good couple of hundred this time. So we've tried to get a good mixture of personal sites, of businesses that are just starting up, and kind of more established companies as well. Sunny Sandhurst. Very nice. And Istanbul as well. There we go. So we're going totally international. Oh, they're all coming in now. So what do you have to kind of kick us off? Have you got a particular website in mind you'd like to start with?
Yes, so let's go for it. I'm just going to dive right in. Well, wait a minute. Wait till I get not that well organised today.
So for everyone that wants to know what's going on, we were just having a chat and kind of losing our minds about what's been happening with lockdown. I hope everyone's safe and I hope everyone's well. And before it, Craig told a very, very funny but not live webinar appropriate joke, and we were all had tears coming down our eyes laughing. And then it went live. So we're trying to hold it together, so to speak.
Anyway,
so have you got your site?
I am ready. I've got my site. And it's right up your street, Ross, actually. It is our best human hair weaves and wigs website. And the reason that I've chosen this website is it's an Amazon affiliate website, which is a hot topic right now. So
and why is it a hot topic for those that don't know?
So if you don't know, Amazon have quite kindly decided to kick everyone right in the teeth while the coronavirus is on and slash your commissions by up to 70 or 80%. And what is really good about this is they've given you a full week's notice that that's going to happen as well. So
an entire week. How generous is that, eh? An entire week to get 70% of your business snatched from under you. That's fantastic.
Absolutely horrendous. So when I seen this website come up, it's a fairly new website, and I thought, let's get this website on, talk about potential ways of getting away from Amazon and, maybe some of the other things that could be done better on this website. So that's why I wanted to talk about this one. So humanhairweavesandwigs.com. Now, Ross, is that a wig you're wearing there? Or are you just not had a haircut in a while?
I've just not had a haircut in a while. This is the full 1010. This is actually a wig. This is the 1010 Quiff 3000. Does it look realistic? It's starting to get bits of grey in it, which I'll need to send it back. I'm not happy with it.
Just when I'm reading through this wigs website, they're talking about tooth comb and perfect comb for your wig and extensions, and yours does look a bit a bit false, to be fair. But we'll leave it at that. But this website, as you can see in front of you, is an Amazon affiliate website. So if you don't understand Amazon affiliates, you literally click on one of the posts and scroll down. It should hopefully have some information about the product, the wide tooth comb there, and a whole bunch of other stuff there, potentially other things that are on there. However, what is wrong with the website? Now, it's fairly new. It was only started in January by looking at the Semrush kind of stats. However, aesthetically, looking at the website, the navigation bar's all over the place there, which is not too good. It's not going to kill your SEO as such, but, certainly from a user perspective, it just doesn't look great.
How do you feel about the mental exact match domain name? besthumanhairweavesandwigs.com.
I mean, it's a bit over the top. I think someone's probably read that exact match domain names still work or something like that. Very, very, early 2000s, that type of tactic was coming out. So, I'm not sure about the domain name, but the domain name's not the be-all and end-all. You can rank pretty much any domain name as such. But I think, just the website in general. So if I click on a product page like this, of course, it's got a nice picture of whatever this is supposed to be. But there's no real call to action here for me to click on anything. Now, if you look at any other Amazon website, it's got clear calls to actions, throughout the content, not even at the top or at the bottom, throughout the content. And that's something that this website really doesn't have, although I'm guessing that's a link and that's a link. They're not that clear. There's no button usage. There's nothing. It's very, very much slapped together. And you've also got products on here on the right-hand side on the sidebar, which you're obviously using an Amazon affiliate plugin, something like AAWP, to showcase other relevant products, but it all looks very spammy with that down the side as well. And even your email sign up is very bland and boring. I can't imagine that gets too much in the way of email sign ups.
What is he possibly putting in his newsletter about? How much does a wig wearer really need to know about where they got their wig from on a weekly or monthly basis?
A wig wearer's likely to probably go onto a website, buy it, and then get lost and don't really want to talk to you again. I think that would be fair to say, because it's one of those kind of weird buys where you just go in and buy it and hope for the best, and it comes in a plain box.
So if we were to, sorry to interrupt you, so if we were to help the person out and actually work out, well, how can we actually help them increase their email list? What kind of stuff would we be doing to actually get people to give them their emails?
I mean, you're going to have to, there's a number of ways of doing it. I mean, you're going to have to at least, positional wise, that's in a nice place. Top right-hand side, eyes are drawn there. But you're going to have to either give something away or do something to encourage, something downloadable or whatever it may be to get people to sign up or give you their data. Just name and email, subscribe for more. For more what? More spam. What is it going to be there? So one, the what you're giving away, it's just bland. And two, it doesn't stick out to the human eye. But I think something like a giveaway or a competition or something fun, even to try and attract people to giving you their details. But overall, I think it's a very poor attempt at Amazon. It doesn't rank very well. It's a very slow loading website as well. You probably want to sort that out. You've got 75 requests. So there's probably heavy use of plugins and various other stuff there. There's a lot of work to be done in this website, including if I go to the sitemap, you've just got a severe lack in content as well. Now, with Amazon, you can make a lot of money by just going down the content route and going after a whole bunch of long tail keywords that relate to your wigs and weaves and whatever else it is there. and you're going to need a hell of a lot more content than what's on this website at present. Throw 100 blog articles at it, and you're probably going to start to make money. I'm not sure how much money you're going to make just now, but also going on to the Amazon affiliate side of things. Obviously, Amazon have cut. I'm not sure of the exact percentages when it comes to wigs. However, uniwigs.com is a place that you can earn between 5 and 10% commission on qualified sales for wigs. Do a simple search and find another wig affiliate other than Amazon, because the problem we've got here with Amazon is that Amazon really don't care. They are a big brand and really don't need your sales. That's pretty much what they're saying. And for me, Amazon is for lazy affiliates. It's quite easy just to set up a website, get a content writer to smash stuff out, buy some links, and then comes some money. But what I've done in the past is buy Amazon websites and change the monetization. So, for example, if it's a pet website, I might buy a pet website that's an Amazon affiliate and change it over to something like Chewy, which pays a lot more commission than Amazon. Yeah. So changing the money. So Amazon going away is not the end of the world at all. You can flip the monetization, go to private affiliates or whatever it may be. Most affiliates are getting 20, 30, or even 100,000 hits a month on a website, and someone somewhere is quite happy to do that. And am I not right, Ross, with the affiliate website that you got last year? You went to a different affiliate. It wasn't Amazon, was it?
Yeah, that's right. So I moved away from Amazon pretty quickly. So interestingly, in the chat, we've got Jay Hamilton, Ziv Girden, and MRZ saying, "This is a terrible example. Are they all going to be like this?" No, lads, keep your pants on. We're going to get into some slightly better websites just shortly. But yeah, I moved all of my Amazon stuff over to people like Dick's Sporting Goods and people like that, and actually going straight into the manufacturers like Spalding and stuff like that, because it was a basketball website. So moving it to that, I think is a very good idea. Building an email list is absolutely crucial. So some sort of lead magnets, although this is a bad example of a website where it's be hard to create a lead magnet for it. Maybe something like a wig styling guide, or how to keep your wig fresh, or like, I don't know what the problems are that particular audience has, but maybe go onto like a Facebook group for people who use wigs or something like that, and see what kind of stuff are they sharing and talking about, and maybe start building a resource for that for them to download. We're clutching at straws. Shall we move on? Oh, Jay Hamilton is a last. Sorry, Jay. All right, so let's share the screen. So I'd love to hear the chat's thoughts on if this is a bit more appropriate. Experience main. Looks lovely, doesn't it? Design your own experience. So this is a luxury concierge service for the great state of Maine, and it also helps you to plan events and things like that. So the first thing that I do typically with all this stuff is just have a little look at the source code and have a little look at the robots. So typically what I just want to do is see like, what are they built on, what's their structure, and they doing basics. So first thing right out the gate, there's no sitemap referenced inside of their robots.txt. Just really basic hygiene stuff. Inside your robots file, have a link to your sitemaps file. Let's see if they've actually got a sitemap in the first place and who's powering it. They do, and it's Yoast. So what I would do is get that sitemap index, and I would put it straight into your robots file, and obviously making sure that that's also uploaded into Search Console as well. I would upload all of them individually. I wouldn't upload the index file, although you can do that. So let's get into the actual site itself. Okay, what's your first thoughts on the site, Craig? Does it make you want to go to Maine?
Yeah, it's quite a clean, tidy, nice looking picture on there. So yeah, I certainly wouldn't mind a wee holiday in Maine on first impressions.
Yeah, absolutely. So I mean, it looks like they're clearly quite smart about putting lots of links to navigation. But here's the thing, right? So they sell these services, but it's like right at the end there, and it's kind of mixed in with everything else. I'd seriously think of maybe starting to change the way this navigation works, so it's a very obvious funnel into services. I love this instant thing into design your own experience. Now, classic things in UX and conversion rate optimization, you do not want call to action buttons to be the same color as general navigation buttons. So I know this is going to make a lot of design people cringe, but you kind of want to make that as ugly as possible so it's a very obvious standout button to click on to then go and convert on. Now, let's go and look at one of their main services. So they do travel concierge services first and foremost. Now, here's the content here. What's the first thing that jumps out at you, Craig, here? For me, it is they don't really have a lot to say about one of their main services. So from a sales point of view, it may be quite hard to actually sell this service, but from a ranking point of view, you're really not going to do very well with this level of content on there. What I'd be doing in this instance, I'd be mapping whatever keyword you want to rank for this. I'd be taking it and I'd be using the on-page SEO checker from Semrush, and they're going to then go and look at the top 10 or the top 20 results, pull out all of your competitors' content and compare it to yours and say, the top 10 for this keyword have these words and you don't, so you should probably update it. It's a really nice, simple service, and it will really help you kind of optimize this content down. A couple other things you notice, because there's no content, there's also no internal links. So everything mostly points to the Contact Us page. So if we were to look into their crawl, what we want to see is actually what's physically going on inside of the pages. So what I like to do is get a full view of all the different pages, and I like to start having a look and seeing, in terms of their internal linking, where is it all going. So we're going to go into internal links and view details. It's pretty clean. It looks kind of brand new, like it's just been put up. But here is the absolute sin of the day: orphaned sitemap pages. Now, what does it mean to have an orphaned sitemap page? Well, let's actually just go back to their sitemap for a second. So inside of sitemap.xml, an orphan page is essentially something that you can't click from the home page to that page. There's no internal links pointing to it, and because of that, it's going to be very hard for Google to find it and crawl it. They will find it in the sitemap, but you really don't want to put non-essential pages in the sitemap. So inside of all these different sitemaps, there's a bunch of these that you just physically cannot get to by clicking through the website. That's really bad practice. So the biggest win for these guys is going to be to update their content to make it a little bit more thorough, but also really focus on their internal linking structure. Now, we talk about this quite a lot, how we would do really basic, decisions to work out internal linking structure. What I'm doing here is doing a site command for the entire domain, and then, maybe say like luxury travel. I don't know what the keyword is. So let's say it was for their main concierge page, luxury travel. And what that's going to do, it's going to show me here are the pages that Google believes are most closely related to the keyword luxury travel, and they're the most powerful on your website. So if I click onto this, I'm just looking at these title tags as well, those need updated. If this does not link to the main services page for luxury concierge, which it doesn't, however, when we say to Google, show me the things that you think are most related to that, that to me, that says that this is broken. So just doing this really simple exercise to get yourself to a point where everything is internally linked to the correct place, and you might actually find you need to delete some internal links as well. Now, let me just quickly look at some of their title tags. So visit main, group travel, meeting planning, luxury travel. Fine. Absolutely fine, but I don't like the fact that they're targeting lots and lots of keywords that get really nothing to do with each other. What I'd like to see is I'd like to see something that's a bit more descriptive. So experiencing main, what we do, who we are. So this is kind of like their about page, I suppose. But inside of some of their services stuff, packages and retreats, let's say, so this is like main spa packages, I imagine. Again, no content, guys. Come on, let's get some more content on the page, please. When we look at their title tag, it's the exact same thing. Main vacation package, experience main travel. We get it. You're in travel in Maine, enough with a million keywords that get nothing to do with anything. In terms of appending, what's your opinion on this, Craig? Appending the brand name on a title tag, are you for it or against it?
Against it. It's just using up, your title tag, is only really supposed to be 60 characters long. So I see there being absolutely no benefit whatsoever by constantly repeating it. I would say borderline spammy to have it on all of them. And depending on the length of your title tags, it could flag up as duplicate title tags if you've got a long business, brandable name. So yeah, I don't do it. It's once is enough on the homepage.
Agreed. It's confusing, and if you've got another 10 blue links, you want something that's very obvious with a clear call to action, so you're getting a high click-through rate. One thing which I suppose we kind of seen coming is there's no proper schema on this site. So yes, it's got web page schema. I imagine Yoast is probably doing that out the box for you, and you're not doing that yourself. What I'd highly recommend, so on things like, if this is a package, if this is a service, if you go onto schema.org, you can actually find the exact type of schema to put on that page. So this is probably like product schema or something like that, or a service schema. So we'll just look at product. This is probably the wrong, let's just go for product. If you scroll to the very bottom, what you can see here on schema.org is it'll actually give you the examples of code before and then code after. Now, very recently, Google have come out and said, give new rules for implementing schema on JavaScript. So if you literally just Google JSON LD schema, it'll come up with the webmaster help to show you how to actually implement that. My favorite thing to do is to use Google Tag Manager in order to inject it in. Essentially, you can take the JSON code, put it through Tag Manager, and actually inject it in. Oops, this is logged in. Better not show you that. You can use Tag Manager to implement it through the entire site. In terms of little other things to look at, to be honest with you, it looks like the site may have just been recently redesigned. The reason I say that is because there's a lot of weird things with regards to the JavaScript and CSS not being minified. Now, why is that important? Well, I'm just going to go into my browser and press function F12 as a shortcut. And I'm going to go into the little dot menu here. I'm going to go to more tools, and I'm going to go to the coverage report, wherever that is, coverage. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to hit reload. What that's essentially going to do, it's going to reload every single thing that this site is actually using to render everything up. Now you'll see here this Chrome extension stuff, that's actually pulling from my browser, so we can ignore that. But you can see the bits in red, oh, it's still going. The bits in red are the parts of that file that are not used. So bunch of node stuff. I think this might be a JavaScript-based site that happens to use WordPress as its back end. And if that's the case, yeah, it is. It's some sort of JavaScript front end. So now I need to start getting into your search console. I need to start doing fetch and render. I need to be saying, is Google actually seeing this stuff? So what I really want to see is the cache, actually. Do you use the cache a lot, Craig, or do you think it's, I mean, a lot of SEOs don't actually like using the cache because they think it's nonsense.
If needed, then yeah.
Okay, so it seems to be caching fine. And text is partially coming through. So I'd be going on to Search Console, doing a fetch and render just to make sure that that's okay. So that would be my kind of view of the guys at Experience Main. More content, better internal linking, double check that you're getting indexed properly, and just take care of your hygiene aspects, clean up the sitemaps and your orphan pages.
All good, all good. Give me a second. I've been on that many chats, I forget where the share screen button is.
Okay, we've got some questions coming in. Maybe we can, as you're getting them, maybe we can go through some questions.
Go for it.
So Mendo Digital says, is there better affiliate programs than Amazon's? Yes, there is. Any in particular that you're signed up to, Craig, that you'd want to go through? Maybe that just mention the networks.
I mean, you've got CG affiliates. It's fairly good. I mean, personally, I'm not a big affiliate guy when it comes to the networks as such. You know, most of the affiliate stuff that I do is the likes of Semrush, which is BRush, and various other SaaS tools and you know, email marketing softwares and stuff. But CG affiliates is one of the biggest out there. And there's also a whole ton of private organizations offering affiliate deals. You just depending on your niche. But I would just, do a simple search for whatever your niche is in affiliates, and up will come a whole bunch of stuff, and just, sign up to the stuff that's paying the kind of best commission. But just bear in mind, you want someone that can actually deliver the product as well. I've had a few experiences in the past where I've signed up to a crappy affiliate who wasn't able to fulfill all of the kind of demand and stuff like that, because it was just no research done. So just double check who you're signing up to. But tons of stuff, just a simple search for your kind of niche and affiliates, and I'm sure a whole bunch of stuff will populate through. And whether you go with a private company or a network as such is entirely up to yourself.
Yeah, I would recommend a bunch as well. So I'd look at Affiliate Window are probably one of the biggest ones out there. I'd be looking at Trade Doubler, Rakuten, Paid On Results. There's literally hundreds of them, each with different structures and different bonuses based on what you're getting through. The guys have also started asking, how would you prioritize doing these different tasks to bring your site up? That was Wayne has asked that. Well, Wayne, I have a framework. So if you go onto the Semrush blog and you search for my name plus technical audit, you're going to, and actually if you go to the Semrush Academy, I've done an entire series on this with them, where we look at the methodology of going through it from things that we call hygiene, so things that are physically broken that the crawler can't get to and your users can't get to things like presentation, which is are titles broken, are they not keyword optimized, stuff like that, all the way to things like page power and code and speed and all that sort of stuff. Ultimately, I think it very much depends. If you've got 100 broken links, if you've got 100, let's say, broken images on your blog, and you've got one broken link, what are you going to fix? So if that broken link is a link to go to your checkout, you're going to fix the checkout. So it just depends. I would follow the cash trail. If it's going to make you money, start there. Do you have a method of going through that, Craig?
I think it's more just a common sense approach. What is most important from, either a money or an SEO point of view. Sometimes it's not a cash trail bunch of stuff that's wrong, but you're going to have to prioritize. So if it's not a cash trail decision you can make, would I tag images before I would fix broken internal links? Absolutely not, because I think the internal link thing's more important than tagging images. So just really what's more important to you from an SEO point of view. Not tagging images is not going to be the end of the world from an SEO point of view, but obviously having broken links or whatever is. So it's just a case of which moves the needle first. If you can't put it down to a monetary value, common sense, what's going to move the needle first. That's the way I do it.
Absolutely. And Media Snacks also asking, are you seeing any problems implementing Schema using Google Tag Manager? I've experienced a lot of issues using Tag Manager. The way in which you've implemented Tag Manager is the issue. It's not that they don't honor it. So what I would recommend is you use a structured markup testing tool, just Google structured markup testing tool. And once you implement it, test it to see if Google actually sees it and physically renders it. Instead of implementing Tag Manager via a piece of JavaScript, you might actually be able to do it through DNS instead, which will make it much more reliable. It means it will actually always load. So the problem with Tag Manager is that if you've got, depending on the site, when we opened that waterfall on that main site, and it was here's all the JavaScript resources, and some that are used, some that are not, and the waterfall going down. Well, if Googlebot's opening that and you've got a particularly slow, heavy page, and your Tag Manager is the last thing to fire, it's not going to see it. So it's all about how you're actually implemented Tag Manager on the site, not about how JSON-LD is used for Schema. Google JSON-LD Schema, and you'll get a lot more information on that. Bit of a technical one. Do you want to move on to your next one, Craig?
Yes, let's go for it. So share screen. It's a guy in London. Well, I'm not saying guy. It might not be a guy. Marriott Construction. Nice, clean website they've got here. They offer extensions, new builds, lofts, commercial stuff. Yeah, nice, clean, tidy website. When you look at it, some nice case studies, request a quote, and everything else there. So I've had a wee dig around this website and just want to give a few suggestions. I know it is, again, another fairly new website. The first thing I always do with a website is run an audit. I think, everyone's got different processes, and there's a couple of wee different warnings and stuff like that with minified JavaScript, sitemap not in the robots text. But one of your favourite issues are on this website, Ross. No redirect or canonical from HTTPS to HTTP. So the reason that I decided to choose this one is if I look at the guy's website, in Semrush, it's starting to grow, and it started in January, and he's starting to add more content and start to get more keywords coming through. So things are moving in the right direction. However, they could probably double if you fix that redirect issue there, because Google's effectively seen that as two different websites, which is not good. And it's obviously one of Ross's favourite problems. Nah, I'm only joking. I stole that one from Ross on a previous episode and passed it
on. The basics, isn't it?
But it's a basic mistake, which is quite easy to oversee. But that is something that you need to address. Obviously, your internal linking and most of your other stuff looks okay, so to speak. There are other improvements, though, that you can do on your website. Now, you do rank for a number of different terms based in North London and whatnot. But again, just going through some of your pages, for example, your new build page, your title tag, new build contractors, London and Hertfordshire. Now, that might be your two main catchment areas. So we'll scroll down and have a look at your internal links. And if I click on this one here, it takes me to a photograph at the bottom of your website, where it should potentially take you to a landing page, that might talk about a new build mansion in Bushy, maybe a case study with a couple of photographs and stuff like that. Because this website does lack a lot of content, and there's areas within London, like I'm not that familiar with London, but like Kensington, and loads of other areas like that, and you can create a lot of geographic specific pages in there to target your services using your blog. Because if we have a look at your blog, what you're going after is very, very generic search terms. Now, looking at your location and looking at the keywords you're targeting, it would seem to me that you're looking for stuff in London and in particular the north side of London, and you're probably prepared to go as far up as Hertfordshire. But you're going after very, very generic nationwide search terms, which is going to take you a hell of a lot longer. Nothing at all wrong with doing that. But some of the kind of keyword research that's going into this as well, there's a blog post here about should you extend or rebuild, high glazed extensions. It's a bit generic, whereas I'd probably go down the route of adding more geographic specific landing pages, talking about, house extensions in Kensington or, various other things, so that you can actually rank for those search terms. Because some of your stuff is pulling through generically nationwide if we go and check your rankings. But are you actually going to be able to service those? If someone's wanting a vintage aesthetic bedroom and they're from up in Scotland, that's just a waste of time going after that. So I would potentially have more of a geographic specific focus on your pages and ramp up the content a great deal. You are building links, which is a good thing to do, and obviously some of your keywords are starting to come through. Construction companies in North London, there's a whole bunch of different search terms that you can go after with this website, and just become a bit more targeted with your keywords. Would you agree with that, Ross? It's just kind of loosely targeted in a lot of ways.
Yeah, I think one of the big things here is making sure that Google understands that you're a local entity and where you're based. So things like company schema with the correct longitude and latitude in it are going to be really important. Also setting up your GMB profile and making sure your name, address, and phone number are correct across the web. Semrush has a listings management tool where you can put in your details and it'll actually sign up to all that stuff for you, which will really help with your local SEO. So I'd have Schema on the back end to let them know exactly where the service is and what the service is all about. And I would just double check to make sure that is the phone number that's on the site the same as the GMB listings and stuff like that. But yeah, regionalized pages, do your keyword research. So we have a company that does CCTV camera installation, and we went through all the different boroughs of London because it was a fundamentally different service for that particular area. Maybe in like central areas with high footfall, they do things like access control, but in things like, you know, out in the countryside, it'd be more like traditional CCTV installation. The keyword volumes totally changed for service plus location based on what the service was. So it's important that you do your keyword research and you work it out. And it's not only just boroughs; you can do the entire sections of London, like Builders North London. Great. There will be a good amount of search volume for that as well, I think.
Yep, I would tend to agree with that. But yeah, just a wee. I mean, it's a new project, but a few tweaks there, and the major thing is the no canonical or redirect from the HTTPS to HTTP version of your website. That's one that I would be fixing right now. Yeah, but good job. You've made a good start, and yeah, keep up the good work. But what is your next one, Ross?
We've got a couple more questions coming in that I'd like to just quickly touch on. We've got Usama Achor, who's asked how to fix this indexing error. No index detected in the X robots tag HTTP header. That's really simple. You just take the no index out of your HTTP header. How do you do that? I don't know what your server configuration is, but it's to do with your server. So if you're on a LAMP stack, so Linux, Apache, MySQL, and PHP, you're going to want to jump in. You'll probably get something like My PHP admin. You might be able to change it there without seeing your site, without seeing your technology. I don't know, but the snarky answer is, how do I get rid of this no index on my page? Is you delete the no index is what you do. Does growing average time spent on the website have any impact on the overall growth from an SEO point of view? Craig, if your analytics says high time on site, does that affect your rankings?
I mean, I think, you know, high time in your website is going to give a signal to Google that something good's on there and your content's worthy of reading. How much of an impact does that have? You know, no one knows, but I certainly am a massive believer in user engagement signals and that stuff having a direct impact onto your website. It would make common sense for that to be the case. You know, if people are bouncing off within 1 second, clearly what you're putting on that page is garbage. And, you know, I think Google has to use metrics like this to establish whether the content on there is actually matching what the search query is. And for me, I do believe it carries a fair bit of weight for sure.
Absolutely. We've got a couple more questions as well. Robin's saying, can you explain about linking to other landing pages in your copy? Robin, if you can extrapolate that question out, because that's quite a general question. So essentially, the reason why we internally link from page to page, if you imagine the Great Gatsby, there's a big champagne pyramid in the Great Gatsby, and he's pouring champagne in at the top, and it flows all the way down the pyramid. This metaphor is the champagne is the link, and the glass is the page. If I start taking those pages out, then it's not going to flow to the bottom. So if you don't have internal links on your pages, you're not going to get power to your lower pages. Similarly, if you don't have enough champagne, don't have enough links, it's not going to reach the bottom either. So that's what we mean by internal linking. Typically, you want to cluster all of your pages together by topic and make sure they're internally linking to one another. Yeah, is there a Semrush team member that can do an audit? You'll need to ask the guys, but we can get back to that in a second. All right, should we move on to the next one, Craig?
Yes, your turn. Show us what you've got.
All righty. So we have a website called Spindle. Here we are. Let's have a little look at them. Natural latex mattresses made in the USA with free shipping. Really lovely site. Very smart branding, very well put together. All in all, very impressive stuff. However, something kind of unfortunate has happened to them in that if we just quickly run it through Semrush to look at their traffic, we can see that there's a bit of a bump in the road around February 2019. Let's have a little look. So this is typically what I always do when I'm looking at these things. This is defaulting to France for some weird reason. So the reason why we always look at the traffic is because I want to see if there's been a penalty or an algorithm update that's negatively affected them. And you can see here, February 2019, they lost about half their traffic and they've been slowly trying to get it back over the last over the last year or so. So straight away, what I'm going to do is use this feature in Semrush. I'm actually going to click View All Notes. And what it's going to do, it's going to bring up all of the different algorithm updates at that particular time. So this was something that happened in February 2019. So we'll need to go back quite far in order to see that. So you'd go back to 2019 and find it. But I know for a fact there's a core update. So there's a lot of murmuring. So let's have a little click on this here. Very high activity for the US database. A lot of changes, but no like actual, it wasn't Penguin or Panda or a core update, anything like that. It's just a lot of people were talking about it. Interestingly, around that time, that's when they started to look at nofollow slightly differently. So it may be a links-based issue, but in order to, this is exactly how I would diagnose what is going on. So first and foremost, there's something called the Search Quality Raters Guidelines. A friend of Semrush, Marie Haynes, is very into this. Here we go. This is the Google version. She talks about EAT all the time, and here are the guidelines. So guys, if you've not read this stuff, I highly recommend. This is what Google gives to their human quality raters to actually train the machine learning inside of the algorithm. And it goes through in detail all of the things that they think is a good thing and a bad thing to work out if the page is trustworthy or not. This typically plays into more what we call YMYL, or your money or your life websites, but in retail it can sometimes have a bit of an impact as well. So moving back to the Spindle guys, first and foremost, I would check round about February, did they do any sort of migration work? Because the thing that I want to see is, like, was it an algorithm update, or did they just do something to their site and they've caused it themselves? So when we actually jump into the crawl, now I've only crawled 100 or so pages so I can get a top level view. It's totally fine. There's nothing in particular that we would say is an issue with this. So what we want to do is actually go a little bit deeper. We get some things like orphan pages, but there's only a couple of them. We want to go a little bit deeper. And what I'm actually going to do is, Craig, have you ever used the Web Archive API?
Never used the API, no.
Beautiful. So this is going to hopefully be useful to some people out there. Now, usually what you can do is go into archive.org and you can see a big history of all the URLs. Now, what I can actually say to archive is I can say, this is just a constructed URL and it's a post request that then spits out the CSV of every single URL that's been on the site from 2007 to 2020. So this is giving me the complete view of every single URL that's ever been on this particular website. And what am I going to do with this? Well, what I want to do is I want to take this out and I want to crawl it in list mode so I can actually see, is this redirecting? Is this giving me a 200 or is it giving me a 404? So let's do like a quick browser test and see what happens to it. Okay, so it's just going to the homepage. So already I'm starting to think this is probably why this happened. And I'm willing to bet, let's get some of their old HTTP stuff. It's an old blog post. I'm willing to bet that they've botched a migration and this is why this is happening. Oh no, guys. So it looks like the traffic loss is because they've migrated from an old site to a new site and they've not redirected things properly. So the way I would diagnose this and get this fixed, go to web.org. I'm actually going to put this in the chat if the Semrush guys can share this URL and you can all kind of play with it yourself. There we go, guys. If you can give that to the guys in the YouTube chat. What we can actually see here is I would take this, I would then go to Semrush and I'd pull all their backlinks. I'd go to Search Console, pull all the backlinks from there. I'd go into GA, pull all the links from there, and I'm going to get a massive list of links, like every single URL that's ever existed, deduplicate it, and then crawl it, and then I'm going to see all of the places that have not been redirected properly that may still have link equity pointing to them. So that's quite a biggie for good old Spindle mattresses. They've got a botched migration that they need to fix.
Ouch.
Do you like that archive one? I love that archive thing.
Archives for old hillbillies. That's good tips. I learn something new every day, mate. So what are we doing? Are we going to go to questions and answers, or do you want me to go through another one?
Let's go through another one, guys. If you've got questions for us that you want us to have a look at live, just stick them in the chat, and then we can go through it.
Cool. Right, so I'll go through this one quickly. It's probably your type of shop, Ross. I know you wear clothes like this. So,
here we go.
The Dogo store has vegan. It's 100% vegan printed shoes. Not my cup of tea, but probably Ross's. So nice e-commerce store. They're selling a variety of different shoes and bags and stuff like that. So they are Turkish, I believe, primarily. And what I want to do is just highlight a few things that I feel are wrong with the website. Now, the website does get a series.
Can you share the screen?
Am I not sharing?
No.
Bloody hell. Wait a minute. Stop sharing. And I will come back and share again.
For guys asking in the chat, we've had a couple of hundred websites submitted. Sadly, we're not going to do them all. But if you are, I've got a website and you want us to do it right now, now would be a good time to put it in the chat and we can have a look at it.
I think I need Kate to put my screen on my shared screen on the screen. That's the problem, because I can see it sitting down there.
Semrush technicians, could you sort us out there?
Kate, wake up!
What's the URL, and I can see if I can bring it up.
It is dogostore.com. DOGO.
DOGO.
It's up there.
There we go.
So Dogo Store. That's it here. So when I was laughing at your clothes, Ross, there, the kind of shoes you would wear. But Turkish website selling shoes and various other items. Looks good. Nice website. It gets decent traffic. As I said, ranks primarily, well, not primarily. I can't even talk at the same time, but it's a Turkish website. I think that's where their head office is, where a lot of their traffic comes from. They have also seen a little bit of a dip in March to April. That could be down to a number of different reasons. But when I've done a site audit on the website, we see a whole bunch of errors. And one common thing with e-commerce websites that you need to remember is these duplicate meta descriptions and duplicate content issues that you get are normally apparent when you're updating your product list all the time. So sometimes it overwrites some of the SEO stuff. Now, if we look at your actual rankings and what you rank for, Dogo is a massive, massive brand that gets 40,500 searches a month. So it's a massive brand. I personally haven't heard of it, but it's a massive brand. And if we look at the kind of traffic you're getting, it is pretty much all for branded traffic. So you don't actually rank for anything that good, which would lead me to believe that potentially, you've got a lot of duplicate content and stuff like that in your website where you've uploaded a supplier's list to your website and then just ran with it. And obviously your brand has allowed you to get away with that. But regardless of country, if we look at the US audience, again, a lot of the kind of volume is coming from branded search terms. Dogo Shoes London, Istanbul, Dogo Shoes. So I would pretty much say the majority of your traffic comes through branded search, which is great. You've got a great brand to play on, but you have a whole bunch of errors and just a whole bunch of warnings on your website there talking about duplicate content, duplicate title tags, duplicate meta descriptions, which you're going to have to address. And as I say, one reason for that could be you've just simply uploaded the suppliers list and not optimized the content to rank for the different products and stuff like that. That's what it looks like to me. The title tags and everything are above the clouds, and then you've got your brand name in there, which we spoke about earlier, where do you have to have your brand name on every title tag? Absolutely not. So that's something I would change. But I think, to be honest, looking at this website, it ranks for a lot of branded stuff, but there is no real on-page optimization of the products or the stuff that's on the website. I've had a look at the website in general. There's nothing that bad with it. It is all the main problem does seem to be around duplication, and it's probably something that's quite easy to become lazy about, because you've got such a big brand, so you're getting all that traffic anyway, where that might be enough for that website to continue to grow. It's the same as Coca-Cola. I did an audit on Coca-Cola one time, and you'd think it was the worst website in the world. Technically, do they need a great website? Probably not, but as I say, when we're auditing websites, it's all good to play in your brand, but there's a lot of improvements that can be made there.
One of the things that I can kind of see on this as well, Craig, is the way in which this is built. I don't know what the technology is, but if the guys can share my screen to the chat, the way in which they use navigation and their filtering, it's faceted and it's appending on these little question marks. I don't know if the Semrush guys can share my screen with everyone else. We can go through it. There we go. All right, so if we look at this, we can see here it's appending this little question mark thing on there, and it's like question specs equals 32. That's because I've just picked a particularly different color, and what it's doing, it's appending all this stuff on. Now, obviously, we don't want that to be indexed, so we would need to go into Search Console and make sure it's handling parameters correctly. However, if you're doing your keyword research and you're looking at women's shoes, like if there is search volume for black women's shoes, which I'm willing to bet there is quite a lot of volume for black women's shoes, I want that to be its own page. I don't want it to be this stupid parameter. Also, what I want to see in here is a title within each one saying women's black shoes, and I want the title to physically change as well. So I can guarantee that a lot of this stuff won't be in the index, and that's why they're struggling. So there we go. They've got potentially got an indexation problem where, although they've got all these pages, Google's not actually seeing them. They're multi-language as well, so there might be, it's 11,000, so there might be some href lang issues that are going on as well. So there's fundamental issues with the way in which their content is discovered and indexed, which I would also have a wee swatch at, as they say.
A swatch.
Should we do some questions?
Yes.
All right.
Live.
We've got Darren Finch, went from Weebly to WordPress. Site was rewritten from HTTPS www to HTTPS with no www. Does it hurt? And should it go back? All I'm going to say is congratulations for moving away from Weebly. That was a very good idea. Craig, does it matter if you're on a www or a non-www?
Nah. My personal preference is always www, but I have had websites that have bought affiliate websites and stuff that don't have it, and it really doesn't make that much of a difference. It's more of a personal thing. I've got like OCD, so that really bloody annoys me. So, but in the grand scheme of things, SEO wise, nah, it doesn't make a difference.
Yeah, Darren, just check, make sure that everything's 301'd properly and the canonical tag that's on your homepage is going to the correct version. that's really all you need to worry about there. Let's see if there's any other questions here. Side question, what's a good Semrush course to start with if you don't have a website yet and you know what niche you want to focus on? And basically for step one course. So Semrush are better if you've actually already got something to practice on and to use. So there's no really like out of the box, here's how to start. However, I believe Mr. Craig Campbell has a free SEO course. Do you?
Yeah, I've got a free SEO course which drills down into where to get hosting, where to buy a domain name, and even how to do it if you don't know how to do that stuff. So if you go to my website, craigcampbellseo.com, and in the news section, there's free SEO course. Sign up. There's 153 modules there. Thank you for the plug, Ross.
Anytime. On the same line, Tom Pratt is asking, if you're starting a site from scratch, what are the first things you're going to look at doing? Tom, again, there's a Semrush video up where I talk about SEO project management, and we have something called REST and Boom. REST stands for Research, Evaluate, Strategy, and Tactics. That is the order in which you need to do these things in order to get yourself to a good place. Research is things like keyword research and content gap analysis. Make sure you've got analytics on there, make sure you get Search Console in there, and take care of the hygiene things. Sitemaps. Is your keyword research correct? Is all of the metadata correct? And then start moving on to more advanced things like putting schema on the website and things like that. If you were to get a brand new domain today, Craig, what's the first thing you would do, apart from probably smash it with 100 links?
If you've got it, I would slap a website up on it straight away, just a page. Whilst I'm going away doing the research, I would just chuck something up there. I chuck WordPress on it straight away. Just, slap a page up there, just get a bit of history behind it. You might not get round to the build and all the kind of proper content creation for 6 to 8 weeks, but that's just my weird way of doing it. Just get something up, get it, getting some time under its belt, and then go away and do what Ross says. I mean, I think your approach is, research. All of that kind of stuff has to happen from the get-go. You've got to just get your house in order, do the research first, and then start to implement stuff along the way. But by the time you do all the research, find a web design and all of that kind of stuff, you could have had 2 or 3 months worth of stuff under your belt. And I know what I'm doing though. If I was coming into the industry and I didn't really have a website before, obviously I would never do that. But I think knowing what I know, I would probably just grab a page up, get an address and smash citations at it and all of that kind of stuff, just to get the GMB stuff going, and then worry about the rest later.
Great advice. We've got a slightly more technical one. Darren's asking if I've got 3 products that can be used in 4 different industries. So the technology is the same, but the attachments for each industry is different. Trying to figure out what one to canonical. Don't canonical them. So what I would ask is, like, if you think of, let's do an experiment. Craig, what are these?
Specs.
Right. They're spectacles, they're glasses, they're eyewear. It's the same thing, right? But actually the keyword is fundamentally different because there's a different approach for each. If it's different enough, I wouldn't canonicalize it at all. Right, we're now getting towards the end of the webinar, Craig. What are you going to do for the rest of the evening? Anything interesting?
I'm going to flout some laws and go out for a drive because I've been on online all day. Been a busy day for me with a few different things, different calls and stuff like that. So I need to go out for fresh air. Otherwise, I'm going to pass out. No Zoom calls for me. What about yourself?
I've not been out of the house in about 3 days, so I'm going to do my 1 hour allowed run around the park to get a bit of exercise. And as most agency owners are aware, our company is currently on fire, so I'll just be picking an area to extinguish some flames and keep building for the future. So everyone watching, Craig, if we want to find you, where do we go?
It is craigcampbellseo.com.
Fantastic. Is typeamedia.net or at Artavs on Twitter. That's everything from us, guys. Stay safe, stay well, keep social distancing, and we will see you shortly.
See you later.